Welcome back to our Owls Walk. Chansiri has reportedly rejected an approach from an American-based consortium to buy out the club. The club have confirmed the story. However, other parties have had interest. We have got Tom and Matt, of course, back from his protest as well. Matt, great picture of you from the weekend. Thanks for sharing all this on social media. Some shirt that as well, which we'll have to ask you about in a second. Hope you're all well. Thank you very much for joining us. Two more. It's the penultimate Where Owls Walk of the season. How are you both?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Reasonably well. Yeah. How was the protest march, Matt?
Yeah, it was well attended. I think more than quite a few people had anticipated, because previous protests actually at Hillsborough in person and online are two very, very different worlds. There was about, I would have said, anywhere between, it's difficult to count, anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 who were there on Saturday. Marched down from the Adelphi Hotel, which is the site of the where the club was formed. There's like a blue commemorative plaque in town. Marched down through Hillsborough Corner, and then stopped at the entrance to Hillsborough Park, picked up the majority of people, and then marched down through to the club. Even if nothing else, it's a very, very big show of solidarity that just hasn't been there previously. We've seen protests in the ground. We've seen turning your back on Chansiri in the past couple of weeks. But yeah, it was it felt like there was a bigger public sway than what's been there previously for protests.
Yeah. What have you made of the recent news, Tom, then, that this American consortium have launched a bid? Is it, rumours are he's wafted it away?
Yeah, I mean, it's good news in the sense that something's potentially happening, but it's just typical that he's waved away an approach. I'm not sure if it's even a bid, so I don't know if they even got that further enough. And then, we need them to sign an NDA. He's not really happy to do that, and then he wants them to show proof of funds, but he hasn't shown proof of funds for the next 12 months to actually pay the wages. So yeah, I'm just hoping that this will either encourage other investors or something can come out of it.
Matt, what's your take on it?
Yeah, it's interesting. It completely dispels the rumour that's been going around amongst certain sections of the Sheffield Wednesday fan base of there's nobody out there to buy us, because that's just nonsense. And I've never bought into that way of thinking. I think I've been quite open, obviously, on that. Still remain the case. The validity of obviously this bid in terms of preferred bidders, who it's rumoured to be, because obviously in the article it mentions a Florida-based businessman who any Sheffield Wednesday fan can put two and two together and get the right answer of kind of, I think, who that is likely to be. We've got no idea of the valuation on kind of like what was offered or what was suggested as kind of being something that maybe what kind of like the club are looking for. Ultimately, I think the most telling and the most damning statement that was in that was Chansiri has rejected it and also complained about the fact that he's still owed monies. Now, without going into the politics of the entire situation surrounding that and boring everybody to tears with it, I just didn't see the logic of, if somebody owes you money, but then they're also offering you to offer you a huge amount of money more, why you wouldn't just include that onto the deal and just say, I'll make my money back that way. It's just, the whole thing's just a bit of a farce, really.
I mean, both of you will need a summer rest from talking about Wednesday, particularly you, Matt, you've done a sterling job in all the organisation, I've got to say, pal, of the protests. Do you think when will we have a resolution, Tom? Do you suspect this? Is this going to be rumbling on? We'll be sat here in August kicking off the new season against Birmingham at home?
Yeah, I think so. I just can't see it being a smooth process with him. So yeah, I mean, Matt maybe knows a little bit more about potential investors and stuff, but I just don't think he's the type of guy just to say, yeah, that's a fair price and sign it over. I think we're going to be looking at this for at least another year. Yeah.
I was surprised to see when Cardiff were relegated, Matt. Maybe not surprised, but understandable that so many Sheffield Wednesday commentators were saying, this will be us. Watch what's happened there with Vincent Tan at Cardiff. This will be us in 12 months' time if he doesn't leave. Do you subscribe to that view that you are in relegation trouble?
Next year, yes. Yeah, next year, yes, Mark. The reason being is because I mean, me and Tom share very similar views on this. The manager's going. He's made that perfectly clear in his latest round of press conferences over the past 4 or 5 weeks. That would be the most hilarious thing if Danny Röhl is still here in August with his bottom lip out, pouting about the fact that nobody's come and taken him, and he's still here with no money. It's not just the chairman, Mark. It's the same stuff that we've been talking about the entire season. It's to do with the ownership and obviously the lack of investment. That's the main one, and that's fundamentally what has caused all of the deep-rooted issues. But underneath that, you've got one of the most exciting coaches that the EFL has at the moment, and also the most exciting coach that Sheffield Wednesday fans have seen since dropping out of the Premier League. He's disappearing off, and it's not even to potentially a much higher job. It's to a team who are incoming into the league, which I understand in stature it's a bigger job in terms of like there's more scope to be successful there, but its club size is fairly similar. You've then got 12 out of contract players, many of whom are leaving. We know of one for certain, Josh Windass, who posted it on his LinkedIn, but then we were told it wasn't his LinkedIn. But then 2 days later, his dad came out on a golf course and said, no, he's leaving. So there's that. And then you look at everything else that is there of the players who are leaving. There's a high likelihood that a lot of them won't re-sign. And then how do you go about building a competitive championship squad on, say, 3 or 4 million quid? With a new manager, with a new coaching staff, all the rest of it, it's really, really hard. Bear in mind, this time we sat on this podcast last year, Mark, and talked about taking it down to the final day, and it taken a miracle to get us into that position. It's just all too familiar, is the sad reality of it. But I agree with Tom. This is 12 to 18 months, I think, before we're actually seeing a resolution to it. The problem, I think, is both myself and Tom will be waving goodbye to your face for at least a season by that point.
I don't know. There's a few clubs that are already thinking. We talked to our Watford fans earlier, who, of course, you're going to pay a visit to this weekend, and they are saying very similar things about the way Cleverley's being treated. Pozzos aren't investing, so you're a kindred spirit. On Saturday when you head to the Vicarage Road. Right, let's have a quick chat about the Portsmouth game, shall we? I mean, Tom, we've got that one. Sorry, that's the one. We've had more statements than home wins this season. Brilliant, Tom, by you. Yeah, what did you? Quick word on the Portsmouth game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's fact checked, but it must be pretty close, to be honest. But I think just on the last thing, I think next season as well, Birmingham and Wrexham are going to throw a lot of money at it, and that's probably 2 teams that aren't going down, I'd say. So yeah, we're right in that mix of probably the 6 kind of teams that are in it now. If they stay up as well. But yeah, Portsmouth, I just think it was a bit of a nothing game, other than the kind of protests that were going on. I don't think anyone was really up for it. Just wanted to kind of say goodbye to some of the players that are going to be leaving. But I think it's just get the season over now. I can't even remember most of the games, to be honest.
I was going to say, did you watch the match? You watching the game? Shocking home form, embarrassing, a total letdown, especially the second half of the season. The only positives this season are our away form and staying up with a squad that's bottom 6. Fair dues. Right then, daylight robbery. Many fans were saying at the EFL Awards last night. Matt, Josh Windass's goal against Derby was nominated, didn't win, remarkably, and then Shea Charles also didn't win. The young player this season went to Mr. Bellingham. Robbed on both counts.
I can make an argument for no. I can make an argument for Joe Bellingham is playing in a playoff team who, for my money, I think will make the final, and he's been instrumental. I sat on here the other week and said I think Chris Riggs been their best player, but I can understand the argument for Joe Bellingham kind of receiving that accolade because he's done it also for 2 seasons now. I would have liked to have seen Shea Charles get it because I think he's dragged this team kicking and screaming alongside Barry Bannon and a few others to what's ended up being a comfortable mid-table finish. But flirted with the playoffs. The Josh Windass one is the one that's for me. I actually prefer the Oxford goal. I actually prefer the fact of because it's set up by the forward chests it back to him and it's hit on the volley, but it's like a jumping volley and swoops and loops over. And I mean, any other year, the Josh Windass one wins it by a country mile, but I was amazed that it was the Notts County goal. Yeah.
I think it'd help his cause. I think it was the last goal he scored. That the Oxford.
Up until last week. Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Tom, let's give you this one then. So Gatecrasher says, thanks, Josh and Liam, for your service, and potentially also to Smudge and Pato as well. Thank you, Danny, and your team for all the memories. Good luck to you all, Mr. Chansiri. Time's up. Please sell the club. Yeah, some good servants leaving. Who are you going to miss the most?
I mean, out of that, probably, Windass is the best player, and he's been, even though the last few months he hasn't been amazing, his goals have, been very important to us. He's got us promoted. And then the other ones, with as much as Liam Palmer and Pato aren't exactly the best footballers, I think they do instill a bit of a mentality of kind of, backs against the wall, whatever. So next season, if they're gone, if we don't bring in some kind of experienced players who are up for a fight, because I think we are going to be down there, then it's going to be a bit worrying. But I think they're on too high wages to keep them there as like bench players in our situation.
Yeah. I mean, Pato, he looks 44, doesn't he? But I mean, what is he, 34, something like that? How many years has he? How many years has he got left?
30,
is he 30, 31?
No.
Yeah.
We've got this chat before, haven't we?
He was great at like 25 or something, I think.
Yeah.
Mad. And of course, we have to have the last talking point for this guy. This time we finished in the middle of the table. Last time we were fighting for our lives, and boy goodness, weren't you? This time last season we were off to the stadium I like, Matt, weren't we? hoping for a win at Sunderland. Just final words on Danny.
An exceptionally talented manager who will go on to have a wonderful career in the game. It's just really sad, I think, for Sheffield Wednesday fans, and I know Southampton fans won't feel this, or Leicester fans, or RB Leipzig fans won't feel this potentially. It's just sad that we weren't able to give him the tools to see what he really could do, because, we sat on here, and I think it was Glyn at the time, when we were speaking about it, and I said, if you can get to Easter and still be within a shout of the playoffs, we fell a week short of that. I know actually, like, realistically, it was probably done a couple of weeks before, but actually we fell a week short from mathematically being eliminated from that race. It's an outstanding job that he's done. I'm not going to sit here and say he'll never have a connection with anybody else like he's had us, but you never forget your first love, is how I'd put it. And I think he's an exceptional coach. And if this is the last time that we've seen him at Hillsborough, I genuinely do wish him all the best.
Yeah, here. You've definitely given us some memories of that Blackburn away game last season. I think I've never seen limbs like that in any away end. It's brilliant. Thank you, Danny. Right, Watford smashed you 6-2, Tom, in the reverse fixture. Out for revenge, or could you care less about this? What do you want from this final game of the season?
Yeah, I mean, because of that 6-2, I'd like to get a win, but I think both of us, what is it, battle for 13th or something? I think we both. They're not happy. We're not happy. I think it's just going to be one of those games. I'm going to go 1-1, I think.
Okay, bro. Because it's the last away game of the season, we're asking you, of course, to nominate your favourite away trip. So we'll get your thoughts on that in a minute. First of all, big question. Kits for next season. This is where it's at business end. What colour should our away kit be, and what design are you looking forward to, Matt?
I'm looking forward to actually receiving my third kit, which I haven't seen other than a badge, if it ever arrives. I'm biased because it's the colour that I think looks best. We've obviously had a blackout kit this year. I like a black and yellow away kit. If we're just going for nostalgia, I'd like to see us recreate that green and white hooped one from the 80s. Ultimately, I'm not too fussed. I don't think the orange has been great. I think just go back to yellow, which we'd had last year. And I don't mind it. I don't want to see a pink kit again, is I suppose how I would describe it.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I like the black kits, maybe black and yellow, but next season it might be wearing it to our own funeral, to be honest. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be great. But I mean, maybe we'll get some US owners, Jamie Vardy up front, challenging, but I think the blackout kit does look really nice, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I asked you about Jimmy Vardy, I think, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, and I think you both laughed at me, given the wages. But he started to hint, hasn't he, that
I saw on Sky today they were saying he doesn't want to go down to the Championship. He still thinks he can do a job at a Premier League team, but
I think he needs to have a word with himself. Given I've watched Leicester a couple of times this season. My God, he was awful when he came to Goodison in December. Right. So what's been your favourite away game? Final one of the season. And first of all, big shout out to any Wednesday Wednesday nights that have been to every single one of them. I mean, Matt, that includes, I think, you nearly, doesn't it? Up and down the country.
This year, yeah. I've done quite a few this year. I think there's two that stick out in the mind for me. One is Coventry in October, just because we'd never won at Coventry. I think it was mid 2000 since we last won there, and to do it in the 91st minute was a really, really good feeling. Derby also stands out as well. Excuse me. Derby also stands out as well for December, because that was the last time where everything was in perfect harmony, owner, manager, all the rest of it. And I think honourable mention for Plymouth at the back end of the season as well. Plymouth was a fantastic away day, 3-0 win. Again, everything seemed like we had a chance at that point.
Bringing up old memories. Tom?
Yeah, I was going to say the Coventry one. I think the scenes of Shea Charles at the end, because I think we were all thinking we might have a chance here of having a really good season. But yeah, I think that was a great moment.
Okay, Bill, let us know in the comments what they've missed out. Right, you two, enjoy your trip to Watford. One more of these to do next week, where we look back at the whole season as a whole, look at the stats, how Wednesday performed, and yeah, look ahead to the summer, where we can stop talking about Sheffield Wednesday for 3 months. There you go. Lovely. See you then. Have a good one.